Good day everybody, welcome to another replay analysis as we currently have a PvsZ on our way. We have a message from a former Grandmaster player, he says, but this is the message. He says, "Hi MaNa, first and foremost thank you for doing this. I am a former Grandmaster in 2014-2015 who is now around 4700 on each server. I'm looking for analysis on the correct macro progression and where I am messing up. Even though this person was way above my MMR, most of my PvZ games look something like this. Also, I would love advice about where I could be looking to improve my multitask. These are general thoughts really, and I would just appreciate your overall analysis on where I could stand to improve. Thank you, Clay Padre Finney." Well, Mr. Padre or Mr. Clay, thank you for your message. Let's try to help you with this replay on PvZ. As the replay was loading in, I could see this you were at 4.8 MMR and your opponent was 5.4. So this is actually a big MMR difference, and indeed you are a big underdog in this replay. So let's see what happens. The map is going to be Jagannath, and if I am not mistaken, this is the first PvZ that we're going to be analyzing on this somewhat of a serious replay analysis. Okay, you're going for the pylon on the low ground, very good. Oh, your opponent is immediately going for an early pull. I believe that was a 12 pull. So as early as possible. What are you going to do? You see no lack. You see the lack of hatchery. Okay, you go immediately to the main. All right. You see this is an early pull, probably a 12 pull. You go for the forge. Okay. This is a big defense. You have probes in the natural. Okay, so far so good. Blocking the natural, so he's forced to use the links here. Very good. Okay, his hatchery is late, you're boosting the zealot, and you're going for the cannon. Okay. You confirm the hatchery is down, and now you're going for the second pylon. Ooh. Okay. And you should be going for an adept. A sentry! Okay, I'm not sure if I understand this. Why the sentry? Okay, first and foremost, your defense against the 12 pull was maybe even too good in a way that you have committed too much to the defense. The forge, the chrono boost on the zealot, and the cannon. This is 300 minerals, forge and the cannon. What you could be doing against a 12 pull, which is a little bit tricky, and if you're a low MMR player, I wouldn't mind this kind of defense really. But if you try to defend it better, you can go for the gateway here, cybercore here, and try to wall off with a second pylon. So there's only a space to walk in with the Zerglings between, like in here, but there's a pylon in here, right? If you know what I mean. That way, your Nexus is much faster, and the Zerg really needs to do something. It takes time to kill a pylon, and by the time they actually break through, you will have an Adept chrono boosted out, as well with the Cybercore. The reason being just really a much faster Nexus where you can avoid that. I would suggest going for Forge and Cannon when your opponent is going for a proxy hatch. But I mean, in this situation, it's a good defense, but it might cost you too much. I don't really understand the Sentry. Sentry doesn't really give you anything. Like it will give you scouting later on, but you might as well have gone for the Stargate and go for an air unit that gives you also the safety and scouting possibilities. This sentry is already putting you behind for no reason. But okay, I'm going for the Nexus. Especially, I think, and especially chrono boosting the sentry is like, I'm not sure. Because if, I suppose maybe you were, I don't know, afraid maybe of a Baneling Blast or something like that. You already have a cannon, you have a zealot, and by the time that the Zerg would have enough gas to have Banelings and speed or any kind of aggression, you would already have a Stargate unit out of this. But okay, let's see what you're going to be doing next. You're scouting for the third base. You don't see anything. Cool. And now you're going for the Stargate. You see, this Stargate could be at least 30 seconds earlier. I know you're on one gas, of course, because of the 12 pull, but at least 30 seconds earlier, you could already have this Stargate. You already see with this probe they have a good drone saturation. It's likely not going to be an all-in, right? You see the drones going from the hatchery to another. You confirm there's no gas from the Zerg. You could see it with the probe in here, if you paid attention. So there's no link speed or anything. What you should be doing also with the gateway, instead of the sentry, go for the adepts. Try to put some pressure on the Zerg. Even though they have a lot of links, these are slow links, and adepts are quite fast, especially with the Shade. You could be at least, you know, killing maybe 1 or 2 Zerglings and forcing the Zerg a little bit back. Right now, Zerg has perfect vision of what you're doing both with the Overlord and with the links at the front. You go for the battery. Oh, you're investing so much into the defense. This is way too much. Stargate is already enough to keep you safe from any kind of early game Zerg aggression. You seem to be completely clueless about the possibilities of Zerg aggression. And you're going for the Void Ray. Like, if you go for the Void Ray, if you already have planned in the Void Ray, skip this battery. You already have a sentry to buy yourself enough time for any kind of aggression against the Zerg. Void Ray is keeping you safe. I thought you might be using this sentry for hallucination and scouting, but this sentry was completely useless for the entirety of the game. I really think it was only for the defensive purposes, and again, if you're thinking of defensive purposes, Stargate and the Void Ray as soon as possible is much better than any kind of gateway unit. Okay, you're using the hallucination now because you had a probe earlier in the base. That's cool. You're going with the Void Ray, Phoenix is going to scout. You're seeing the lair timing of your opponent and constant Zerging production. Now, because the Zerg is with the links in here all the time, they can drone freely. There's no kind of aggression going on from your side, right? He had an Overlord in your main, so they can drone freely. Again, adding the Adepts instead of a Sentry just really prevents Zerg from being in a comfortable position of droning all the time. They would have to keep in mind at least some kind of aggression from your side. Okay, going for the 2 Void Rays. Slight supply block happens to the best. I know what I mean. I am supply block all the time. Okay, this Overlord should be killed. It is. Decent third base timing. It's not so bad. Okay. Going for the +1, using the Forge. But right now, all because of your choices of being too defensive and not understanding the follow-ups after a 12 pull, cost you this amount of income difference. 15 drones difference. You could be having a faster Nexus, more probes, more money, and faster Void Rays and so on to keep even more pressure on the Zerg. Because Zerg had so much freedom with the Forge, Cannon, Shield Battery, and a Stargate so late, they could drone up freely without using any additional larva on any kind of units. You could see he's only having on 7 links, and he has 57 drones. At least your tech is somewhat okay. You have +1 finished while the Conceal finished. And you keep on scouting the Sentry, which is nice. You're going for the charge. The Zerg is already on 66 drones. Okay, you're doing some kind of move out. This kind of move out would be possible like 40 seconds ago. But you're doing it now, because of the early game. Okay, 3 Void Rays. We're trying to find some damage. I know it's not easy. Alright. It gets deflected. The Adepts don't do anything, he's defending the Queens. Okay, you're cancelling the 4th. In the meantime, you're adding additional gateways and a Robo. That's cool. But your 3rd base is not saturated. Like the thing that you cancel the 4th base, yeah, it's cool. But your 3rd base has been done already. These probes from the natural that you have oversaturated because you're producing probes, which is good. These probes could be already transferred to the 3rd base and already mining. This little micro maneuver that you cancel the 4th was cool, but again, you're losing more economy because of that. You're still not transferring the probes. So you're already losing more and more economy and you're falling further and further behind. Meanwhile, the Zerg is saturated well on 3 bases. Okay, this maneuver could be done like 20 seconds ago. That's a lot of mining. Kill the Overseer. Now you're not looking too bad economically, right? 61 to 66. You cancel the 4th. It's really cool. You could be in a better position than you are now. Another slight supply block. Good amount of gateways. Somewhat good. Try to add 10 gateways if you are on 3 bases and you're planning to go with the Zealot and Charge Lot. Charge Lot and Archon. Simply because these are very cheap units and you're not using the robotics facility for Immortals constant production. So you can afford 10 gateway production. Okay, your opponent is going for Fast Hive. You're adding Charge Lots and Archons. You have Storm. This is looking cool. No unit in the wall. Don't do this. Have a unit here. Trust me. I know what I'm saying. Have a unit here at all times. These links could be going to your natural right now for all you know, or your main base. It's all exposed. Right, this move out is maybe too late. Okay, you go defend the 4 base. Good decision not to comment, but save the base. It's more important. If a Protoss is able to secure 4 bases with full mining, you're in a good position. You have rather low probe count. You've been stuck on 61 for a lot of the time. If you're already transitioning into the 4th base, you need more probes, right? The main is mining out, but it still has some minerals. You don't have enough probes to saturate the 4th base. It's done, but you're not using it, right? So why is it done? What for? Okay, this is going to be a sick push before lurkers are out. Let's see what the Zerg has. Not much in here. I lied, he has a lot. The army that you currently have is really bad against Roach Hydra. Roaches are super good at tanking the Zealots, and Archons die super quickly to both Roaches and Hydras. This is a good flanking army, and off creep especially, because Zerg army can kite these Zealots really easily, unless you have force fields. You have only 1 sentry in here. Storms can be good against this, but you have only, what, 4 storms? Yeah, 4 storms with 4 High Templars. It's very easily to, like, this engagement should not go well for you. Even though you have +2. But you take a 5th base, and I can see the entire army just getting slaughtered. He barely loses any kind of supply. And you lose the entire army. So the reason why this fight went so bad for you, again, is the setup for the engagement, right? The Zerg was already maxed out. You didn't have any Immortal because you were going for the Charged Archon Storm timing, but these timings could be so much faster for you if only you did everything properly in the earlier stages of the game, right? The faster Stargate would mean more harassment means less money for the Zerg. Less money for the Zerg would mean that this timing he would have simply less units. If you saturated the 3rd base slightly faster, it would have been better for you to have more units, right? Your upgrades were very good. I will give you credit for that. You started upgrades very early, and that's very good for you. But if you're scouting a Zerg army consisting of Roach Hydra, especially that the Zerg should be maxed, don't engage with pure Zealots and a little bit of Archons, a little bit of Storm. You do need Immortals versus that. And especially since the guy was going into Hive and Lurkers already, you had to be transitioning with more Immortals or double Robo Disruptors versus that. So this is the kind of analysis I would like to give you. The key points will be: try not to over-defending. If you would watch this replay, you would see that you're in no threat whatsoever, especially since you had the probe running around, right, seeing the lack of gases and so on, and you still decided to be more defensive. A single Void Ray can protect you in the early game against anything that the Zerg can do. So this shield battery was useless. The Forge and Cannon defense was good to keep you safe, but again, it does put you a little bit behind if the Zerg is not committing to the aggression, like this Zerg was not. So I hope I taught you something with this analysis. It was a fairly good game, but I could see your frustration of how hard it is in PvsZ. This guy was 600 MMR above you, so it can feel kind of hopeless. But yeah, don't lose faith. You're on a good track. Hope this analysis helped you, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.